Namaste, everybody, and tonight we are going to make something called chicken tinga, and it is actually a beautiful authentic Mexican chicken taco, and we're going to actually make a beautiful roasted tomato salsa that we're going to stew the chicken in. So I'm going to start by making the salsa. So earlier this evening, I actually roasted some vegetables. So in my blender here, I have a good handful of fresh cilantro. And what I had on hand was some Anaheim peppers. And they're a nice mild pepper, so I used 3 of them. And 1 jalapeno. 4 nice roasted tomatoes that we're just going to add right in there. Half a roasted onion. And the juice from 2 roasted limes. Oops, they're slippery. I'm going to have to wash my hands before I start. Oh, not the whole rind, just the stuff inside. So I think I've told you before, if you've never roasted any citrus fruits, you should really give it a try. They have an unbelievable flavor. Add those in there. So now I'm just going to wash my hands.
Agatha says, I want to come be my personal chef. Hi, Agatha.
Totally would. So I don't know if you guys, oh, my soap is locked. Just a second.
You want a hand?
Nope, got it.
Okay.
I don't know if you guys know or not, but I actually do personal cooking classes for individuals and groups. So you can actually sign up for those on the Whisk page of my website. I also have been venturing a little bit into something that I think is really cool, actually. I've been working with organizations in the city of Edmonton and surrounding areas. And I've been doing virtual Zoom classes as a way for their teams to stay connected during COVID and have a little bit of fun. So there's been lots of really cool things happening. And so coming up at the end of January and into February, I do have a few classes coming up. So yeah, come on board. It'll be super fun. Okay, so back to my salsa. So last night, I actually made something called Nepali momo, and it is a dumpling that is served in a spicy tomato chutney. This is the tomato chutney here that's left over from last night, and it has very similar flavors. It's got some coriander, some cumin, some cilantro, and some roasted tomatoes. So I'm actually going to just add that right into my Tinga sauce here. Getting nice and full. Gonna try and squish some of that down a little bit. Oh, sorry, Erin's gonna just focus on that while I put this in the sink. Then we're going to add about a tablespoon of Mexican oregano. Mexican oregano is quite pungent compared to regular oregano, so that might not be quite enough. A little bit more. It has a really nice fragrance to it. So we're going to add that in. Then we're going to add some dried garlic, mostly because I don't have any fresh garlic on hand, which is kind of shocking for me.
That was about a teaspoon for those that can't see the hand from the angle.
And then we're going to add 2 chipotle peppers in adobo sauce.
Just happen to have those kicking around.
I always have chipotle peppers kicking around. There's certain things that I can't live without in my house. And yeah, I always have things like Mexican oregano, cumin, smoked paprika, things that I just can't do without. So now I'm gonna put the lovely lid on this thing, and it is crammed full.
And this is where it gets a little on the loud
so
side.
Aaron can step back for just a moment for this part because no one needs to listen to my crazy blending.
Maybe I'll just do a little voiceover while she blends at 1,000,000 decibels. The Zoom classes that we do are set up right here in the kitchen, and we actually have a full-size TV set up so that your Zoom can go right up here and Carene can interact and see everybody that's there.
Done!
Look at that. Perfect.
So we're going to blend that up until it's a nice thick sauce.
Let's take a look at it. Beautiful color.
And I'll show you what I do with that in just a couple of moments. So in here I already have about 2 tablespoons of oil heated. And to that, I'm actually going to sear the boneless, skinless chicken thighs. I need my little tongs. And this is quite hot now, so there's going to be quite a bit of popping. Oh, before I add those, what I want to do is add about a tablespoon of smoked paprika to the oil, just to waken up those spices a little bit. And about equal amount of cumin. Oh, putting the wrong lid on. So now we'll just give those a quick swoosh around. And now we're going to quickly sear those boneless, skinless chicken thighs. Because what we're going to do actually is pour the Tinga sauce that I just made over top of the chicken thighs.
Agatha says that she loves the measuring spoons.
I know, isn't it a great measuring spoon? It's the only way I know how to do it. I've never really measured much, so most of these are kind of the eyeball, shall we say?
It's an intuitive measure.
So I'm going to toss those in there nice and quick.
And for those that are wondering, we are a family of 4.
Okay, so I know, I make a lot of food.
You put that in the sink.
Okay. I make a lot of food, but I do have method to my madness because I don't want to cook like this all the time. So I cook in large quantities and I always turn our leftovers into something else. So tonight, this is actually 10 boneless, skinless chicken breasts. But once they've stewed in the sauce that I've made, then I'm going to take them out. And we'll only use about 5 tonight, and we'll shred them up and serve them with some of the sauce in the tacos that I'll show you later. The other ones I'm actually going to set aside and use tomorrow with all the leftover sauce, and I'm going to turn it into a pizzole. And we're going to make pizzole roja tomorrow night. So it cuts down on prep time for me a lot.
Vanessa Christine says, hi guys.
Hi,
Hello, Vanessa. Thank you for joining us again.
So I'm just going to flip these over. Like I said, we just want a quick sear on them. And you can see that they're going to be nice and dark brown. That cumin and paprika from earlier have browned up really nicely.
Vanessa says using the leftovers is a whole other show.
I'll show you tomorrow. So now we're just going to pour that Tinga sauce right over. These are deadly sharp, by the way. I have made the mistake of touching them a few times. Don't do it.
If you have a Ninja at home, you probably already know this, but don't touch the blades. Very dangerous.
So now I'm going to just swish with a little bit of water to get all the rest of the goodness out of the bottom. Then I'm going to turn it down to about 3. And I'm going to cover this and let that stew now. Where did my little lid go?
And what did you turn it down to?
I turned it down to 3.
Turned it to 3?
Yeah. So now we're going to cover that up and we're going to let that stew. And while that's stewing, I'm actually going to make not so much a pico de gallo or a salsa fresca, because we're having the tomatoey sauce with the chicken. We don't really need to have a salsa fresca or pico de gallo. So what I'm actually going to do is do a finely chopped white onion with tons and tons of lime and cilantro and guacamole. So you're gonna have the nice creaminess of the guacamole and then just a hit of the pungent onion and fragrance and floral flavor of the cilantro. So let's start with that. So I have half an onion here left over from the onion that I roasted earlier. So I'm going to chop this nice and fine. Oh, I'm dropping onion paper.
And while she does that, I'm going to mix this guacamole up.
So we're making a really simple guacamole tonight. It's just 3 avocados and some fresh lemon juice. So you want it nice, creamy, and tangy.
I'm just noticing on the tripod that as you cut, the camera kind of wiggles a little bit.
Oh, because the it's sitting on the island right now where I'm cutting. So sorry if it's wiggling a little bit, guys. I'll try and be more gentle with my hack job here.
Well, I can always make the guacamole later too. Maybe I'll just pick that back up.
Yeah, I need to be a little bit more aggressive, so maybe that would be a good idea.
Okay, there we go. In hand. And the guacamole's almost done. I've already added some lime juice to maintain that beautiful green color. And we're doing a fine dice on the white onion.
It's also making me cry.
It's very emotional.
Very, very emotional to cut this onion.
I say we, but clearly I'm holding a camera.
He's fine. He's got a barrier. So what is everyone else doing for Hump Day Wednesday? I want to talk to you guys for just a little minute after I slice up this onion here.
Yeah. Focus when you have the knife.
I know, focus when you have the knife. The woman, the whisk, and the wardrobe has been very busy. I have a beautiful art studio downstairs. I spend most of my daytimes down there. Unfortunately, I spend so much time down there that sometimes I haven't thought about dinner at all. And then everyone else is like, what are we eating? I'm like, oh, how come I always have to think? But today I went down and I did an epoxy resin pour of a peacock feather. I'm really, really excited about it. It's going to be absolutely stunning. So what I did tonight actually is I brought a couple pieces of work that I've done recently upstairs tonight so you guys can have a really good look at it. I do have an Etsy shop. It is called Pour Art Design Studio. You can check that out to see some of my recent works and some of the available things. I do mostly custom pieces, so I don't have a lot of pieces that are currently available because I do custom work. So most of it is made to order, but there are examples on the Etsy shop of pieces that you can actually order. And then we have a consultation about colors and styles, and then I get to work.
I can put a link to the Etsy store in this video before we post it after the live.
So now we have that half an onion. Oh, I'm making a huge mess here, kids.
I know what I'm doing later.
No. Our children tend to pretend that they have no idea what a kitchen is.
You know, I actually...
But they're really awesome cleaner-uppers.
Do you think it's fair to just take this over there?
No.
No? No. Because I'm pretty sure...
Life of teenagers, you don't do that.
I'm pretty sure that they're very, very studiously holding down the couch in the living room, just in the next room there.
Yeah. But I have to admit, it is kind of cute because they have been best friend sisters their whole lives. Actually, I find it really endearing because they spend a lot of time together, and I love that.
Absolutely. It's heartwarming to see them not just hang out and put up with each other, but truly enjoy each other's company and be best friends.
So I'm going along with a super fine chop on this cilantro as well. Now those onions have made my eyes water and my nose run. I'm a mess, everybody, I'm a mess.
It's okay, just don't rub your eyes. You have jalapeno there, and I know what that's going to do.
I won't do it. Okay, so now we're going to add that into the onion.
You can see some of the pieces on the counter behind.
Oh yeah, we'll take a break and talk about those in just a minute.
Yeah, I'll let you do a little tour there.
I know, why don't you go over there and have a look at them? I'm going to wipe up my garlic powder and go off the counter.
Good choice.
That's not cool. Okay, so some of the pieces that I do, this is actually one of my most recent custom orders. And it is actually for a vegetarian who doesn't do meat. So instead of a charcuterie board, it is a cheese board. She's also a tattoo artist. So I just thought that the swirls of colors and the purples and the artist palette were kind of cool. So this is one of my most recent pieces. And as you can see, it has a smooth glass-like finish. It is food grade resin, so you can use it to eat off of it, you can cut on it, and they can be washed off. This one right here is a beautiful set of custom coasters. And again, I do specific colors for orders. So this one was a oranges and reds and yellows. And I finished it with a beautiful copper edge. And then we have this one right here, which is an actual textured charcuterie board. So it's nice and smooth. You'd have your crackers and meats up here, and then down here is just a nice visual. And then this beauty is actually a piece done on a wood panel, and this is an acrylic pour. The way that I mix my acrylic paints, I use a mixture of water and silicone, color, and some type of pouring medium, and that's what creates these beautiful cells. And then this one is finished with a beautiful high gloss glaze. This one right here is not a custom piece. This is actually just an available piece right on the Etsy store right now. So I'll set that back aside. So now we're gonna go back to the salsa. Oh, you know what I'm gonna do?
I don't.
I'm gonna check on
Or else I'd probably follow you around.
I'm gonna check on my chicken. Mostly because I don't want the chicken to cook to the bottom. I just want to make sure that it is stewing and not frying still. And it is. It's lovely. You can see all the beautiful oils coming to the surface. All those oils have amazing flavor.
And it's starting to develop a beautiful smell.
Nice,
aroma.
dark, rich brown, red color. Almost looks like terracotta. So we're gonna put the lid back on that for a little while. And then we'll come back here and add some jalapeno. So what I'm gonna do here is I'm gonna add 2 jalapenos to this onion and cilantro mixture. Then I'm actually going to julienne one of the jalapenos really fine, and I'm going to pan fry it with some cut up chicken with a little bit of that sauce just to marry everything together. And then we can assemble the tacos. We want these nice and fine as well. So what I actually think I'm going to do, I think I'm going to add 1 of the jalapenos to this, and I think I'm going to julienne 2 of the jalapenos to mix with the chicken.
And you've got 3 there altogether?
I have 3 all together.
What's the third one for? You
Well,
said one in
One
there?
of them's going to go in here, and 2 of them
There we go. That's the
are
part.
going to go.
So 1 and 2 is 3 on today's math
know.
lesson.
Aaron's good at math. No one said when you were an adult you'd have to math.
Well, I math from 9 to 5, so I don't want to math.
No, you're
after
done
that.
mathing.
That's right.
As soon as that clock strikes 6, you're done mathing. I love when you say that you math from 9 to 5, because really Aaron leaves at 8 in the morning and he comes home at about 6:30. So
Yeah, but I do have a little bit of drive there and back, and I clearly don't math while I drive.
Okay, so now to that, I'm going to add some fresh lime juice, just to give it a little tangy zing. And so such a beautiful bright green and white. And so simple, you don't really need anything else.
My mom just tuned in. Hi, Mom. I think we're almost done with the knife too, Mom, so you'll be good.
All right, so now that is well incorporated, we don't need to do anything else to that, but have a look at it. It's so bright and colorful. I just love that.
The reason we're not adding any of the usual grape or cherry tomatoes in there for that pop of red color is because there's so much tomato already in the Tinga sauce. We just don't want it to be overpowered with the tomato.
Yeah, you just don't need it. Sometimes the simpler the taco, the better.
Colleen Berry's on. She says, I need a margarita now.
Yeah, actually, that sounds quite delicious.
I think I'm in on that.
Yeah, right? You know, you could always just
probably
make
have to-
that one.
Probably have to check, but oh, look at that. We have margaritas
Margarita mix.
mixed right in there.
You totally should. And again, we've gone with a super, super simple guacamole. It's literally just mashed up avocado with lime juice. The lime juice will help it stay a nice vibrant green, but nothing else needs to be done with that. We're just going to leave that as is. And what I'm going to make, actually, is a crema. I can find what I'm looking for. There it is. Yay. Oh, and then I also need
This is good video.
I know, this is quality, right? This is quality as I rummage around and think about the things that I need.
Let's rummage through the kitchen.
Yeah,
I love it.
just what you need. So I'm actually just going to make a really simple crema. And we're just going to use some creme fraiche and some fresh squeezed lime and a titch of cumin. So we're going to add a good tablespoon of creme fraiche. And again, creme fraiche is like a sister to, I would say a sister to plain yogurt and sour cream. It's really nice and heavy, but not quite as pungent. But I'm going to make it really pungent by putting lots and lots of lime juice in it. Clearly opening containers is not my, hey, you know what? There you go.
I'm useful.
That's when I just say, please help me. Aw, thanks.
You're welcome.
See, it wasn't even that hard.
No, it was. It was
I'm just
exceedingly
sad.
difficult.
I'm sad.
No.
Sorry.
Opening things has never been your strong suit. It's okay.
It's true.
I'm
I
here.
can make things. I'm a good maker of things.
Yeah. I can open things and I can't make things. So
It's like we're a match made in heaven. So that is probably a good 2 tablespoons of fresh lime juice. And we want to be nice and gentle so I don't splatter. Because typically I would do that.
And what did I just open?
Oh, you open some, so typically I would use a cotija cheese, but it's hard to find and I have not been to my local tienda lately. So we're actually just going to use up some crumbled feta cheese.
Substitute in a pinch.
Substitute it in a pinch. It's nice and good and it's briny and salty and not dissimilar. So it works in a pinch for sure. Whoop, see, I did it anyway.
You caught it.
Mm-hmm.
That's
I
good.
did. And then we're going to add just a pinch, like I said, of cumin. I'm going to classify that as my pinch. So like maybe 1/4 teaspoon. This we don't want lumpy, so we want to just whisk it nice and smooth.
Super quick and simple. Couple of ingredients. And a perfect little addition.
Yeah, and then it's going to be nice and it'll pour really nicely, drizzle really nicely over your taco. So that I can also set aside. Oh, and I make a huge mess.
That's
So
okay.
we'll use my 85th paper towel of the evening. And now we'll just get a little bit of this in the bowl. Don't want all that brine in there, so drain it out nice. And I don't know, 1/4 cup maybe? And the reason I poured it into my hand is because I'm going to actually crumble it. I don't want those big, huge cubes. I just want little sprinkles, like a dusting of the cheese.
A dusting of feta.
A dusting of feta.
All good meals have a dusting of feta.
Okay, so that is also now ready. Chicken tikka is also a beautiful meal because it's red, white, and green, very colors of the Mexican flag, so it looks so pretty.
87.
So now, as I've splattered oil all over the place, I'm gonna grab out a pan. Sorry, Erin, I'm just gonna squeak in here for a second. I'm gonna grab out my trusty pan. And what I'm gonna do is actually dish 5 of these beautiful chicken thighs onto my cutting board so I can cut them up nice and fine. And then I will add them to my saute pan. The other 5 I'm going to leave in the sauce because tomorrow I'm going to make the remainder of this into some pozole roja. Oh, it smells amazing, just
really
so you know. So 5 of those.
And there was 10 altogether?
There was 10 altogether.
Perfect.
So the other 5 we'll leave in there. I'm going to turn that off now. Then I'm going to come over here. I'm going to let those cool slightly. And I'm going to julienne those jalapenos from earlier. And then we're going to quickly sear those.
Did you turn the skillet on?
No, do you want to actually just...
Yeah. 8?
Yes.
You turned the right one on? Yeah, I did. I don't even know how to turn the oven on. I tried to turn one on the other day and I turned on the wrong size burner. Yeah, I'm better behind the camera.
Okay, nice and julienne. I'm going to rinse my hand real quick. Then I just need a splash of olive oil. Just 1 second.
So we're just heating that pan up here. And that's a trusty skillet, very simple.
And about a tablespoon of olive oil. Now, that should have had enough time to heat up. So I can start sauteing those. Oh yes, you can hear it sizzling already. So we're going to let those saute for a quick second while I cut up the chicken. Let me just go. Okay, and then these beauties we're just going to slice nice and thin. They're so nice and tender you could really just pull them apart too, but I actually hate the pulling apart part. That's a task I would make Aaron do.
That is.
So, since he's being the camera guy tonight and not my sous chef, and he cannot do the pulling activity, I'm just going to slice it. It's really funny. There's, like, I love to cook, I really do, but there's certain tasks with cooking that I hate. So I usually pawn those off on the sous chef.
And I take those responsibilities very seriously. I like being able to contribute. You can see, even though this chicken was just stewing in the Tinga sauce, that the chicken's already cooked through and picked up a lot of that moisture. It didn't lose any of the moisture. And one of the reasons that we use thighs instead of breast when we buy our chicken is because it is just a little bit more, we find it more flavorful, but it definitely is a little bit more juicy cut of chicken.
Oh, scrapey is not nice. Okay, so now, oh, we've got a little stray jalapeno there. Okay, now those are sauteing and they should be blackening just a little bit. Yeah. Just about perfect. So I'm going to turn this down now to about 7. Just because I don't want to get splattered when I add the chicken.
Am I allowed to do a toss?
No, don't touch.
No? Okay.
No, no touching. If you've ever watched any of my other videos, we've talked at length about how much I don't like when people touch the food when I'm cooking. So we want to sear that nice and quick. And then right at the end, we're going to hit it with a couple of ladles full of that Tinga sauce, and then we'll be ready to serve. And the last thing is I'm going to heat up the tortillas, and I'm going to do it right on the hot burner. I know, it sounds crazy, but it works. And I want to get some nice crispy caramelized bits here, so we're going to only toss it very gently and then let it sit.
Looks great.
And smells great.
Smells.
I so wish that we could advance far enough to have smell-o-vision.
I don't know if that's really a thing.
Okay, so maybe not in all cases. We want to have smell-o-vision.
You know what I want? I want to be able to have people over to actually enjoy meals with us.
Oh, I don't know if any of you have seen, like I've got like quite the conglomeration of items of clothing on today. So this is one of my favorite little tunic dresses, and I really, really like it. And because it's cold and wintry, I'm missing all of my cute tunic dresses, so I'm pairing it today with a pair of like nice and tight skinny jeans. But then I was cold, so then I put on a big sweater. So now I look like a train wreck, probably. But
I think you look fabulous. Very chic.
So I just want you to see now, you can start seeing those brown caramely bits appearing on the chicken. So that's exactly what we're looking for. So at this point, I'm going to add just a few ladles of the Tinga sauce. Then we're going to give it a quick toss around. And these, my friends, are done. So now...
Oh, I turned that.
No.
My bad.
Yeah.
Turn it to 6.
That's please, my friends.
Got it. I'm going to come in and take a close-up of that.
Now, in here,
Beautiful.
I already have a damp cloth in our little taco bowl. So what I'm going to do after I sear them really quickly is that I'm going to put them into a bowl, wrap them in a damp cloth, and they'll stay nice and soft and pliable. But I want to give them a nice little browning. So I'm going to actually warm them up right on my little burner. You only need about 5 to 10 seconds aside. Oh, but look at that. Oh, so nice.
And these are corn tortillas. Store-bought, like Carene said earlier. There's an authentic Mexican store just in the city called La Tienda. I highly recommend going there for any of our authentic Latin.
Please go there. It's amazing.
Yeah, great authentic Latin options for ingredients, and they're excellent there. So because we can't go there with this whole COVID thing,
well, no, we can.
Well, we could. We just haven't. There's that.
I hardly leave the house. I spend the time mostly in the art studio, and yeah, now that our youngest has gone back to school because schools have reopened, I leave to pick her up from school and then maybe stop at the grocery store. But other than that, I'm like a hermit now.
I think that really classifies a lot of people right now. There's a lot of people that are definitely going out less because there's a whole lot less to do out. I'm really happy that I still get to have terrific meals.
Yes, when you can't go out for dinner,
Have a Carene.
No, you don't need a me. You just need my recipes. That's all.
Fair.
And a lot of my recipes, I will admit, are invented. I have a really good idea of how certain flavors go together and how certain flavors work. And I did, for a long time, devote a lot of time to learning about different cultures and the way that different foods were prepared. So once I kind of had an idea of different spice blends and different techniques that went together, I just kind of added that to my repertoire. So this right here is one of our favorites. We love Mexican food. It's probably one of our go-tos. We have it at least once a week.
Typically on Tuesday, but better late than never.
That's right. That's because yesterday I made Nepali momo and they were outstanding.
Yes, you did, and it was terrific.
Nothing like having a new stove, or a relatively new stove, that looks like it's been well used.
Yep.
But look at these beauties. They're going to be absolutely amazing. Just that little bit of char on them.
For future reference, Cerama Bright, excellent for a stovetop.
Mm-hmm. Does a real good job.
Does a great job. Just make sure that the stovetop is nice and cool when you put it on.
Yeah, not still hot.
Not still hot. No, that's error.
I have a funny story about that, actually. Years ago, girls were still quite young, like maybe...
Up.
Up. That was a good cue, Erin. Thanks.
Yeah, well, you know.
But yeah, the girls were still quite little, and Erin was making them macaroni and cheese in the kitchen, and
that is the extent of my cooking abilities.
You'll see. I'm not wearing a wedding ring right now. I don't actually often in days that I'm doing a lot of art because they just don't work well. So I was wearing my wedding rings this particular day though, and Erin had just taken the pot off the stove and turned it off. And because once these Cerama top ovens are off, they don't look on. So Erin had grabbed the handle on the pot and it was really hot, and he was making a comment about how he should really pay more attention because the handle was really hot. And as he said that, I found a crumb. So I took my hand and I rubbed it across the element that he had just used. And you know when your brain does not compute quite? So I felt this sensation, and it felt almost cold, and I didn't really understand it. So I immediately brought my hand up and I closed it like this and was like, oh my God, that's really hot. Well, conveniently, I melted the skin to itself and to my wedding ring. So it had to actually be peeled off and pried off. So I ended up having to wear lovely gauze bandages for about 3 weeks. Lesson learned. Or I'd love to say a lesson learned, but I still touch the stove quite often.
Chalk it up to a good learning experience. Whether or not we've learned a lesson, we don't know.
Okay, so these beauties are all ready. Now, why don't I assemble one of these before we go to the table, just to show you how it all gets put together. So what we can do is grab this little, I always hate when I leave my little cutting mats out. That's so that the cutting board doesn't slip and slide, but they're really unattractive. So we'll just hide those for just a minute. So what we're gonna do is take out one of these lovely tortillas, nice and soft with a nice little bit of crust. We're going to use just a little bit of the guacamole, kind of like the glue that's going to stick it all down. Then we're going to add some of that beautiful chicken tinga. Oh, mostly jalapeno, so apparently we need a little bit more chicken.
I'll have that one.
Okay. Then we can dress it with just a little bit of that cilantro and onion mix. and a small drizzle of the crema. And then just a little sprinkling of the cheese. And that, my friends, is a beautiful, toasty chicken tinga taco.
Looks delicious.
Okay, now it's very important that we go eat. You guys need to try it though, and then come back tomorrow night and I will make that leftovers into something else.
Good night,
Love you all.
everybody.
Good night, everyone.